everyone, welcome to another episode of Legendary Leaders. I am so excited to have you with me. This month we've been diving into the concept of promotion versus preparation, right? And as newly promoted corporate executive women, we really have to understand the difference between the two. Both are valuable, both are necessary in our careers, but many times, and I think we've realized, and I realized it, I've watched all these other women realize it, you're probably realizing it as well, that we spend a lot more time focusing on the promotion side and we spend very little time focused on the preparation side, and that can cause a delay in our executive performance. Right here at Legend Leaders, what we do is we help you build your high performance executive brand. And if you're not ready to do that and you're already sitting in the executive role, that can be a scary place to be. And so what I want to do this entire month is help you understand the difference between the two, promotion versus preparation, understand why they're both valuable, understand why you've been focusing on each piece as you have to this point, and then really help you use this newfound knowledge that I'm imparting upon you here in this program to then take it and do something with it, right? To build that muscle a little bit, to make your career a little smoother, a little easier, build your confidence to the next level, and just really help you succeed, right? That's what this is all about. And so last week we talked about promotion, and we spent time really understanding the fact that we have ourselves, right? The stories and the conversations that we have in our own brains. We have conversations that we've been having with mentors and our senior leaders. And we have all of these things that are happening around us telling us that we need to focus on promotion. If we truly want to arrive 2, 3, 4 positions down the road and sit in the executive suite, right, then what we must do is we have to get promoted in order to get there. It's very logical. And so promotion in our careers is very, very valuable and necessary, okay? But the other necessary portion that we don't spend a lot of time on until we feel like it's too late, and it's not too late, but it's later than what we want it to be, that's the big difference, is preparation. Preparation. And so the reason why we must prepare to exec correctly is the fact that when we're executives, we lead very, very differently. We just do. An executive leader leads 100% through people. An executive leader is focused on strategy. They're focused on vision. They're focused on opportunities, not problems. All right? They're focused on very different things. And so if you've spent about 10 years focused on the problem right in front of you, focused on rallying the troops and saying, hey, I'm not going to ask you to do something I'm not going to do, right? And we're focused on just getting the next thing done, getting the next thing done, getting the next thing done. That's a very different mental shift. They're very different ways to lead. And it doesn't mean that we can't do both. We're very capable of it. You're very capable. If you weren't seen as capable, you wouldn't have been given the opportunity, right? So if you're in an executive seat right now, it's because those around you fully believe that you're going to be able to exec correctly. Now, the difference between having the ability and actually doing it, it could be a really big gap, okay? And so what we have to do is the preparation to exec correctly closes that gap. It takes the ability, right, and the actual doing and putting it together and making it happen. And so that's what preparation solves for. But if we tell ourselves that there's not enough time in the day, if we're not asking our mentors what we need to do to be ready to be an executive, not just promote in order to get the seat, but actually perform in the seat. If we're not asking the question, how do I perform at the executive level, then no one's going to tell us. Because honestly, that's not the conversation that we're having. We're having the conversation of how do I get there? And our mentors are telling us how to get there. That's promotion. We have to shift our brain and be conscious about the fact that we want to succeed once we get there. And that yes, just because so-and-so is doing the executive role, it absolutely means that you should be able to do it too. Yes, it does. But the difference is that they have actually spent the time to learn how to do it. And they do make it look effortless because they have spent time learning how to exec. And here's the cool thing. Maybe it's cool, maybe it's not, but it's interesting to me nonetheless. I remember looking at those folks going, if he can do it, I can do this, right? But what I didn't ever see What I never saw on camera, what I never saw when I went up to the home office and had meetings, what I never saw in those leaders is the fact that I never saw their journey. I never watched them learn how to exec correctly. And so on the outside watching them, it did look effortless. It did look like the job that I always wanted because I never saw the struggle, right? I always just saw the good parts. And that's sort of by design, right? Like we don't ever want anybody else to see us struggle. We just want them to see us show. And that's human nature, right? That's the thing. But I never consciously recognized that because I wanted the role so bad. I wanted the role to be easy. I wanted the journey to be worth it. I wanted to get there and let it just be, right? This peace, this nirvana. I had arrived. And the harsh reality was I didn't prepare. And it's just like what I walked you through. And I want you to really get this. Are you asking questions to help you get to the executive role? Or are you asking questions about how to perform at the executive role? They're two totally different things. And if you don't know to ask, you're not going to ask. And that's why you're not preparing. The other thing is that we're telling ourselves that we're too busy. And you're probably super busy, right? If you're not yet in that seat because you have a lot more to do. You're a doer in the management role before you get to the executive level. You're a doer. You roll up your sleeves and you do. And you solve problems. Because your job is to look for problems and stop them from happening or solve them quickly so the business can keep moving forward. That's your job. And that's a lot of work and that's a lot of time. But you have to decide if you want to reach the executive role. That's awesome. That's good. Thumbs up. But now you've got to decide that you're going to do that well. Because I have watched so many women get into the executive seat and then they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready. And without this preparation, without quickly preparing and then fixing the performance, right? We've got to prepare and then we've got to perform. Let me say that again. We've got to prepare and then we have to perform. But if we're not prepared to perform, we're not going to perform. And then we damage the career that we spent all those years building. This is why preparation is key. It is a must. It is not something that we can wing. Because the other thing, and I've been alluding to it, but let me be abundantly clear. What you've done up until the executive role is very different than what you do in the executive seat. So winging it, like we've done in every promotion, has been easy up until this point. Why? Because we've just been building on how do I solve problems at a higher level? How do I, roll up my sleeves and become an executor at the next level? It's all the same function. When we reach the executive seat, we have to lead at a totally different level. We have to focus on emotional intelligence and strategic planning and strategic thought, right? Visionary leadership, influencing, right? Negotiating. We have to learn and do all of those things. We've been given a seat at the table through our work and efforts and through earning the promotion. But we don't know how to use it and we don't know how to use our voice. And that's what we're not prepared to do. And so then what happens? If we're not prepared, then we fall back on what we know, which is being an executor and a doer. And let me help you really clearly understand that executive leadership is not about execution. It's about leadership. And that's what preparation is going to arm you with. And when you prepare to exec correctly, you hit the ground running. You do. Is it smooth? No, we have a little bit of fear still there, right? We hold ourselves back a little bit. But we're much more willing to jump in and start using our voice and owning our seat than if we're having to learn it all from scratch right out of the gate. The equipment died, so let's try this again. What questions have you been asking, and who do you need to ask those questions to? That's really important, okay? And so that's a path that you're going to go on this week, is understanding where you are relative to executive preparation. What does it mean to you? What gaps do you need to close? What conversations do you need to have? Let's get super clear on the need for preparation and where you are relative to the preparation you need. Okay? That's your work this week. I can't wait to hear from you. Send me a note. Let me know how you're doing. Ask questions. That's what I'm here for. And let me tell you really quickly, if you are sitting in a spot right now and you're listening to me and you're going, oh my gosh, I'm new to this role. I am in this executive seat. I have not prepared. I am scrambling. I am angry with myself because I'm not prepared. And I don't know what to do. We have a program here at Legend Leaders specifically designed to help you. It's 100% designed to help you with this exact issue, okay? It's designed to help you and be ready it prepares you in 60 days. It's the easiest way to say it. It prepares you to exec correctly in 60 days. And then once you have that foundation of creating your executive brand, that high-performance executive brand, then over the next 12 months after that, then you strengthen your brand. If you're interested in learning more, send me a note. All right, let's schedule a call, and I'll give you some additional information. As always, go and be legendary.